The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Old moon, yeah. That's Hugo, tickling the ivories. He just saved by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Gonna finally buy a ring for that gal of yours, Hugo? Send her my condolences. Hi-oh! This next one's for you two. There's a burglar in my heart. Thank you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Alright. Alrighty then. I am here and...
This show is explicit. If you are under the age of 18, please get the fuck on out of here. This show is explicit.
Let me play that again.
This show is explicit. If you are under the age of 18, please get the fuck on out of here. Thank you. This message is brought to you by Kapuna. Kapuna, 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 Kapuna. Kapuna.
Kapahuna. That is correct. That is very much correct. And today I think I will talk about irony and miracles and how they are basically the same thing. It's almost always the same thing, really. I mean, if you look at any miracle, like it's an irony. The miracle is the irony. Like, you define the miracle, write it out. It's ironic. In any case, I got a song, and I think it's pretty cool. So I will play that for you. Here goes. A brief moment of clarity, blind house turned me. Some call it cheating, but I'll decide what's fair to me. I'll decide what's fair to me. Love is from the heart. Thought is from the mind. Humble yet eager to see you love the whole time. Love is from the heart. Thought is from the mind. Humble yet eager. A brief moment of clarity. Blind house turning. Some call it cheat, but I'll decide what's fair to me. Stressing my mentality, the properly calamity. Get brief piece of sanity. Remembering how it ran from me, but I will hold to grasp. Let's pray to last. Watching every step like walking on broken glass. You really walk with me if you're up to the task. If we come across a wall, then be forced to trespass. Unstoppable when I'm deep in the zone. Feel my soul's pain, you hear my grave tone. Prone to think we've been seeing people as drones. Well, I'll be the anomaly like y'all was cloned. I get stoned. The time frozen to 70s. Running with lime can be the greatest of remedies. Always looking fresh and player haters hold jealousy. Respect the divine, somehow rhymes shine heavily. Once I open up, once against the very board, I feel the journey calling from the depths of holy course. Jelly black chords, you will be in the healing. Suddenly knowing things I should have carried. The feeling from my mind empty as the heart feels bored. Come one is like silence is noise. Love is from the heart, thoughts from the mind. Humble my ego to see I'm loved the whole time. To give it unconditional, to live a mortal life. I'm a human, baby, perfect, my wings fly. Picture my head with blanket the world with mind's eye. Look within your heart and let your true love shine. Let your true love shine. Let your true love shine. Love is from the heart. Thought is from the mind. Humble my ego to see I'm loved the whole time. Humble my ego to see I'm loved the whole time. Love is from the heart. Thought is from the mind. Steadily had to pull rhymes, said it's intangible. Heard on the radio that I'm said to be radical. Having the skill, that's why you can't even land it, bro. Ready to man it. Love is from the heart, thought from the mind. Humble the ego to see you love the whole time. The whole time. And I am doing this without my usual setup. I don't know if you knew. I told my friends, but yeah, no, I had like a plug connecting to my phone that was like a fork from a plug plugged into my mic, which was plugged into like another fork that was plugged into my headphones. And I had like 5 wires all connected. Everything was all connected to everything, and
I was really trying to make it work, but too much, and it did not work. Nobody could hear anything. I think there was like a feedback thing going on. I don't even know, you know. So I'm trying it with just the mic, just for my phone. And yeah, that's how I started off. So whatever. Hopefully it works. You know, actually, a lot of the audio from my documentary that was just actually taken off of recordings I did like this. And then I would put it through a couple things. Actually, I put it through WeVideo. I put it through, Magisto, and one or two other things. And yeah, you know, it came out pretty crisp in there. So I figure this is good. It works. You know, sometimes simplicity is better. Always, actually. Yeah, it's always better. I won't lie. Simplicity, that's key. And yeah, you know, as I like to say, on the path to oneness, everything would simplify. After a very awakening moment about a year ago, that's what it came down to for me. I realized that the reason why synchronicity was collapsing into more thicker and thicker synchronicity was because I was getting closer. And that's the reason why I felt so uncomfortable too. Because as you get closer to truth, or anything true, by default, obviously, you're going to have to let go of illusions and ideas about reality. And it's uncomfortable, you know, every time. You cannot take those illusions with you into truth. And, you know, the funny thing is that a lot of times we'll know truths and we'll know things and we just don't apply it. Of course, right, you know. And it's like they say in, like Thoth said in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you would have to read it again and again because things will hit you later on that you didn't realize connected. And works a lot that way with a lot of books or anything that we read or watch or anything. You know, sometimes a thing doesn't really hit us until the right moment. And yeah. Well, this episode is going to be about irony, which is a tough one. Because, and I say that a lot, right? Tough one. I should probably chill on that because a lot of times people have a habit of listening to the theme without really applying irony to it. I like to apply irony to everything. You can always find the truth in irony. You know, obviously that a person would only understand a wisdom because they went through the opposite, right? You know, a lot of times we like to call people hypocrites and such, but in general, it's only through that hypocrisy that they learn what is, you know, right for them or what works for them or what doesn't, right? You know, we only gain wisdom from the experience of failure.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Or maybe not even just failure, but you know, hardships and such. You know, we learn our values from the lack thereof, or we learn ourselves by basically trying to discover who we are, trial and error, and realizing what we're not. You know. So in every sense, like let's say you have a horrible relationship, right? Well, that's awesome because then you know what you want. And when you know what you want, you know who you are. When you know what you want and who you are, then you go for the thing that you want. Of course, sometimes we do get caught in, hypocrisies and such, and we do tend to create hardships in our lives. We feel like we deserve to suffer ourselves, and we don't deserve the thing that we really want. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You got to step up and claim what you want. You got to step up and take action towards what you want, because you don't really, nobody's gonna just like hand anything that you want to you. Sure, sometimes, yeah, but I mean, generally, it usually happens that it's handed to you after you've worked hard for it, and not gotten it. And you've worked so hard that you've become fluent and expert at whatever it is, and you were not given respect or given admiration or what you deserved for it for so long that you got so good at it that it's just blah to you. And then one day, you just do something and it's like blah. You put it out and you're given back appreciation. And it can be hard to accept because we've taught ourselves these ego things where the ego says, oh, well, you must obviously not deserve appreciation, or, oh, this is obviously not good enough. And you keep listening to it until you believe it, and then a miracle happens. And the miracle is bound to happen. It's going to happen. The miracle is going to come your way. And whether we're ready to accept the miracle or not, that's on you, really. And, yeah, it's not easy. We believe our lies. We believe our self-told lies. And it can suck very much. I like to believe that every irony, as I like to say a lot, and everybody hates it. Not everybody, let's say 50% hate it. This way you have a choice. You don't go siding with the people that are the group that is more like is general. So 50%, do not like that. I say irony is the face of God. But it's a really good tool to use, because then we can see like, okay, we can look deeper into the truth, We can think like, because generally we think that we know a thing, or we see a thing, and we know what it is, and we know what it means. And then we see people, and then we make associations with the things that we know about them, and then we claim things like, I know who they are. You ever been in an argument or a dispute with somebody and they're like, I know who you are, because they're trying to like pin a idea about who you are? It's never really true, is it? You're never really that person that they're claiming. And generally, it's always really sadly in like you feel sad and hurt and broken hearted from it, and that it's actually totally wrong. They don't understand, right? That's basically what it comes down to, is that we think that we know, but we don't. And that's the thing, is that we have to practice being humble and practice seeing that, okay, we're not right, And this can happen by basically searching for irony in everything. Now, I don't prescribe this for everybody, because some people do not have the types of minds that can fervor it, but yeah, no, it can be a healthy thing, and I guess it could be a thing that drives people crazy, but to me, it's been a healthy thing, is that I think in everything, like, okay, well, what if I'm specifically wrong? Let me tell you a story. I've wrote about it. I've told a lot of people about this story, but it's one of my favorites, and I think I'll go more in depth into it this time than ever before. Some time ago, maybe like, probably a year by now, my dad was telling me a story in order to, well, it just happened to him, and so he was trying to tell it to me. And what it was, you see, he's got a lot of followers on YouTube, Now, he doesn't have any videos. He's got a lot of subscribers, though. And the reason for that is because he says amazing things in the comments, and people love it. So one day, he came across a video. Now, I never got to see the video, and I don't know what it is, but I know that my dad, he speaks his mind, you know? That's a great thing. Well, he was speaking his mind, and he did not like the video at all. He thought the video was crap, and he was insulted, actually. So I think the video was on a theme of something, maybe political, maybe something, I don't know. But it was contrary to his beliefs, or perhaps he thought it was mocking, and it came off mockingly. So he scolded the person, right? He commented all kinds of shit talk to the person, and said a lot of mean things. Turned out that it was a little kid's video, and the little kid had spent a lot of time making the video, and the little kid was sincere in the video, and really sincerely trying to make it, and sincere in what the tone of the video was. It's just that my dad, did not think of that. And my dad broke the little kid's heart. That's a very, very elemental example of things that we do in life, or claim against each other in life, and we hate each other in life for, and we think a person means this or that, or we think things are mocking when they're really sincere. I used to have this Australian ex. Now they have a tone to them, right? Kind of like a stuck-up sounding tone. I gotta admit, okay? No hate. I love Australia. I love Australians. I love your voice and everything. And I spent 3 months in Australia last year, journeying half of it, and I love it. I love you guys. But you guys have a cocky-ass tone that comes off a little snobby. It does. And, but, after being with my ex for a while, while we were together, and she was not my ex, she was my partner. They call it in Australia, partner. When we were partners, I realized that she didn't mean to come off in those tones. But that's just how they talked. To me, I always thought it was mockingly, I thought it was mocking.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, statements coming at ya, statements coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
But yeah, I grew to learn that it wasn't that. That's how they talk there, and that's certain phrases and things, they just come off like that. It's not what I thought it was. And I was blind to it. So irony is that I would get pissed off and argue, thinking that she was trying to mock me over things that were sincere, Horrible. Eventually I learned it, and we harmonized a lot better after that. But it did take humbling myself, and it did take realization that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. You see, that's the thing, is that in doing that, in me realizing I was wrong and humbling myself, I was choosing to be the miracle in that instance. Because the ego says what it does. And the ego tries to entrap you. No, let's say the false ego. Or the egoic echo. However you want to call it. The shadow in Carl Jung's version of it. And it's false. It's a Plato's allegory of the shadow, if anything. If you've never heard of Plato's allegory of the shadow, it goes like this. Plato said, we're like people chained up in a cave, and we're all staring at the wall of the cave. Now, every now and then, something like a dog or a person will walk in front of the light, and we see the shadow. So we all point at the shadow, and we say, that's this, that's that. And we make up names for it, and ideas, and we watch its nature, and we think we know reality. You know, we say, this is the reality. Now imagine you are there, and you get unchained, and then you turn around. That's gotta be scary, right? You know? Now imagine you are unchained, and then you walk outside, and you see the daylight, you know, and at first it hurts your eyes, but then your eyes adjust and you start seeing the world as it really is, and then you're amazed, you're in awe. Now imagine then you go back inside the cave, and then you try to tell your friends what you saw. Nobody's gonna understand you, and obviously the first thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna call you crazy. And they're gonna fight it. That's default, really, which sucks. It really does suck, you know. All of us, as a nature, we tend to think that we are the most virtuous. I read an article about this. It was saying that everybody thinks that they're the most virtuous, righteous people, and everybody else fails and is more evil than them. Even people that do crimes and such, you know. Everybody always feels that they're, in a sense, innocent. That's why they do the crimes, because they feel that they've been led and pushed to do them. And I want to say, in a kind of sort of way, in a kind of sort of social, cultural way, we do. We do. We put people and other people in situations to where they're forced. Not forced, but they're coerced to believing reality as a certain way, and then taking and making decisions based off of that. You know, for instance, music in general, in a lot of ways, we teach, ebonics, that black means that you gotta do a lot of crimes, that you gotta be self-centered, that you gotta treat women like shit, and that you gotta be shallow. Of course, this is totally against the truth within our hearts, but I live in California, you know, and people believe that shit. People believe that. I mean, I know I did for a second, you know. It never really quite sit well with me, but I would say that others are more fluent in it than I am. You know, gotta wear my crisp Gerbo jeans and my brand new white tee, fresh white tee, yeah, and all that, you know. I got my Nikes on, yep, because, I mean, it's brand name. Whatever, what the fuck ever. That shit costs like fucking probably 20 cents in a, sweatshop somewhere to make. And it's very much horrible. It's horrible. It's bad for our economy. It's bad for our culture and our society. It's a thing about planned obsolescence too, because planned obsolescence means you make shit so that way it's designed to break down really quickly. That means that people have to keep coming back for it, you know. Phones, cars, car parts. It's more beneficial for a company to do that, so they do that, actually. When it comes to auto parts, they put things through a machine and through a test to make sure that it does not go over a certain amount of time until it breaks. It has to break before that point. No, they don't hide this shit. This is not something that's like, a conspiracy theory at all. This is factual. Everybody's honest about it and open about it, and this is just how it goes. Is it efficient to the definition of efficiency? No. Is it economic, as the definition of economy means to use resources efficiently? No. And I like to argue that we do not have an economy. And there's an irony for you right there. What would be a miracle in that point would be for them to do the opposite. For a company to say, hey, you know what? This is free. This should be free. Let's just give it to people. Like things like programs that, are needed for security, for computers. Like, hey, you know what? It's a fucking program. It doesn't really cost anything for a person to copy, so they could just, instead of having it be licensed, I don't know, make it free. If it's good for the whole, then why not? Right? Buckminster Fuller put it away where he says that you do not change the system by fighting it. You change the system by building something that is more efficient. And makes the former system obsolete. Which is awesome. And actually, I've got a lot of bookmarks, and a lot of them are bookmarks of awesome people that do awesome things, and they've got some awesome ideas. I try to talk to them and collaborate, but nobody wants to believe that anybody else has any ideas, so they don't look. And nobody likes to feel like, whenever somebody's got their dream, their ideal, they think that they have the best way, right? So they don't actually search and humble themselves to see if, there's a more efficient way. It's ego-based. False ego-based. And the echo of the shadow. Well, let's go back to the miracle point. Let's talk about miracle and how it's always ironic. Well, you got Jesus Christ, right? Now, this is pure irony all the way. He was born in a manger, right? Poor. But 3 kings knew about it. That's something. Jesus, he walked on water during a storm. He was asleep, right? There's storming, and he's asleep. He's sleeping during the storm. Everybody's freaking out, and he wakes up, and he's like, what the heck is going on? And they're like, there's a storm. And he's like, motherfuckers, look, here. And he goes and he steps out on the water. And everything calms down, and he's standing on the water, right? Everybody was tripping on it, thinking they're going to drown, and he's just standing on it like, what? That's right. Look. Yeah. That's hardcore, and that's ironic as heck. He's in the desert, right? Now, the desert, that's a dry place. You go in the desert, right, and you want some water. Well, he goes and he takes the water and he puts it and makes it into some wine. That's ironic. Yeah, you're kind of going to get thirsty in the desert, but he turns it into wine. Okay. That's ironic. It's ironic that he taught love and compassion and to love all as yourself. And that the people, in their denial of it, in their inability to humble themselves and just see the obvious, well, they make up a bunch of shit against what he was saying. And sure, he did say some words that did kind of mean the things, but I mean, it's really irrelevant, really. And they killed him because over ego. They claimed he had too much ego in his claim about being the king of the Jews or whatnot. Who knows how it really went? I like to remind people that in history, well, only the good die young, which means that the successor writes the history books, right?
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
People like to say, oh, the Bible is the Word of God, and the Bible is either 100% factual or it's 100% bullshit. I like to say, actually, that makes no scientific sense. If we're to look at things in a practical way, we could look at it as, yeah, that did happen, Those stuff did happen. There's a lot of evidence that shows it. I've got a book called 100 Greatest Bible Events, and I read that when I was a teen, and again when I was older. But yeah, there's been entire cities found due to biblical reference. There's a lot of evidence that shows that those are historic events. And I think I was reading in Discover magazine, I think it was some years ago, that they found hundreds or thousands or something of Egyptian soldier armor and chariots too, at the bottom of the Dead Sea or Red Sea, whatever's right up there, right up by Egypt, and it made no sense because the thing is that there was no shipwreckage anywhere near where they found the bones and where they found all of the armor and everything. Yet there it was, as though they all just died together right there on the bottom of the floor of this whatever sea, Red Sea, Dead Sea. I'm sorry, I don't know. Right there, So it's funny, these things. Who's to say they didn't happen, right? That said, you do have to remember that these things were collected, after that point, the symbol of Jesus was still the two fish, the Pisces, as Jesus was the guy, he was the signifier of the beginning of the age of Pisces. And for hundreds of years, it stayed as that symbol of the two fish, Well, in that time, people were spreading the word, and the telephone game, right? Things get embellished, things get made up, and people forget stuff, and people add stuff. Constantine saw this as horrible, as a really bad thing, and he took unto him the right to go and kill a lot of monks and collect all of the everything that had to do with it, and had everybody sit down and choose what was the truth and what wasn't. And that must have been a lot of pressure on him, even spiritually speaking. We tend to think of Constantine as horrible and just revolting, and he must have just made up whatever the fuck because he wanted to, right? He must have been evil. He did kill, in order to be killed, a lot of those people and monks and such. So, yada yada. I like to think that's actually pretty stupid of us to think anybody as inherently evil, or to claim anybody as evil, because as we do so, right, there's there's a good chance that if they did an evil act, that they were suffering from themes to do with it and hurt a lot, and they've just tried the best they could. B, they quite possibly were just dumb, did not understand things, and made mistakes. Or C, they're just plain innocent and we're wrong and all that. And in every sense, it's basically us blaming the innocent, maybe they were like so and so, just completely evil and wrong and lied and such, right? You know? But I would say that, first of all, there's a very thin chance of that, given all the other possibilities that we put up in line. And there's even more possibilities that I can't even think of right now, right? So if you equate all that out, there's like more of a chance that they were innocent. Now, do you gamble with the innocence? Do you gamble with the blaming of innocent people? Is that a chance that you're willing to take? Because it's a chance that I would guess you probably do. We all do kind of have moments where we get caught thinking that things are this way and evil when it really isn't. And we accuse people wrongly. Now, that's what they did to Jesus. If you remember. It's better to have faith in a person, because in this way we don't take the chance of punishing an innocent person. And it's never a thing to gamble on. Ever. If anything, find out the truth. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? Well, if you look at it and you take that instance that I just mentioned, every evil act could be pinned to that nature. Like a person harms people and he harms the innocent. Well, he might be actually doing that where he's not taking into mind that maybe they're, innocent, right? A person goes and kills a bunch of people. He might have been fucking insane and going through a lot of shit. And, he probably saw and thought a lot of shit, and he probably thought all those people were evil. It does not give him the right to do so. And in fact, it shows that actually he was symbolically doing the essence of the same thing that we do as we judge people without knowing the truth, as we do that evil act. It's basically evil. Whenever you claim something is something and you know it as quote-unquote fact, that's evil. That's evil because you're gambling, taking the chance of punishing innocent, and that's horrible, And because that's just it. If we look at it, think of somebody that did evil to you. Maybe they thought they were justified. Actually, obviously they thought they were justified. They weren't. True. Or maybe they were. I don't know. But the fact is that in every sense that you look at it, we always do kind of only do things that we feel justified about, right? That's how we do it. That's why we do things, because we feel that we're righteous in doing it. Now, it's only really truly in our ignorance of things and ignorance of giving people the benefit of the doubt, and in our cowardice of blaming rather than thinking maybe we're wrong, that we harm people that are innocent. And we recreate and are evil. And a lot of times life, it works in certain ways to where everything kind of really does look like the thing that we're, it really does make it look like things to us. And so it would be a miracle in those sense. It would be a miracle of us to take a moment, have patience, and look within before we act. It's a huge thing about being a miracle. Forgiveness too. In every sense, forgiveness is being a miracle. Because the false ego mind wants to blame. The false ego mind says, I know exactly everything as it is. I know exactly who that person is, and I know why they did the things, and they need to be punished for it. Right? And, of course it's all bullshit. Of course it's all bullshit. By default. So the forgiveness comes in that we see and realize that, hey, you know what? Actually, we don't know the whole scenario. It was wrong for us to be attacked or hurt by the other person, but if I try to empathize, then I gain more understanding of the situation. And you see that because you can even create imagination about what what could have happened to make them hurt you, and then you start to empathize, and through that you start to forgive, and through that you heal. Buddha said that to wish harm on another, or to hold hatred, that's what it is. To hold hatred against another is like to drink poison and hope the other person gets hurt.
Napa know-how.
This October, it's no trick. A 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil is just $26.99. Plus, get a treat, a $10 Visa gift card. Because the only thing spookier than ghouls and ghosts is engine sludge. That's Mobil 1 5-quart jugs for $26.99 plus $10 back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 10/31/19.
And yeah, that's how it is. We always tend to create the platform for us to be hurt in the specific ways that we already blame the person for. Like, I would know that for a very good fact. For years, I was paranoid about being cheated on. Not with every ex, I mean, I've had relationships where I didn't, I didn't care. I didn't, I didn't feel that they would cheat, and they didn't. And I was comfortable in it. But sometimes, there were ones where I did feel specifically paranoid about. And what would happen is I tended to create the platform to where they cheated. I think there's a song lyric that goes like that, right? Some chick or something saying like, with all the times that you blamed me for cheating, I should have, or something, right? And that's the thing, is that in our blame, in our punishment, in our claim that they are a thing, or that a person is a thing, what that's doing is that's basically asking them to become it, which is very evil if you think about it. Like, what kind of evil thing, why would we want the person to become the evil thing that we hate or don't like? It's very ridiculous, but we do it. Like, let's say that you have a friend, and you think that the friend is like trying to take your lover or something, right? Well, then you would start treating that friend weird. The friend, of course, would notice and like be hurt, be very hurt. And then you'd probably start treating your lover like they're cheating. You'd set it up. You set it up. We always set ourselves up for the failure. So, like, the miracle would be like, hey, I'm just going to drop all this illusion and just open myself up to see the truth. Because maybe, even if you were right, even if that the two, were eyeballing each other and, it was your intuition, even if so, is that something to hate for, right? Because it could have been like a one-time thing, and then they realize, like, oh, no, wait, that person isn't really that attractive to me, and I got my lover, I don't want to, do anything bad. But then if you, let's say if you brush it off, then that would be that. But if you held on to it, well, then you'd create the platform. So, really, what is the evil? Evil is something that we, almost on a subconscious level, try to pull out from other people, right? Like, try to pull it out. We try to create the scenario, and that's the true evil. So what it is you have faith. You have faith in other people. Now, we like to say that, okay, God is within us all, right? Well, if God is within us all, then to have faith in another person is to have faith in God. To harm another person is probably going to hurt God. To lack faith in a person, that's lacking faith in God. That's just pure logic right there, right? if we're all one in the oneness, then to love another unconditionally is to have that connection, and to reject another or hate another, that's to not have that connection anyway. So by default, you would not be understanding of the person, and by default, you would be wrong. In the stories of Hosea and Gomorrah, Gomer, Hosea was told by God to go and marry a prostitute, right? And he did. He listened to God. Then she, after many years, they had a family and they fell in love, and she did not feel worthy and she ran away. And he was distraught. Yes, why, God? Why would you put me through this? And God says, now go get her. And he does. He goes and he finds her being sold as a slave, by a slave master, and then he buys her back. And she's on the ground crying, feeling totally ashamed of her sin and her running back to sin. And he looks at her, and he's by her, and he just loves her. Unconditionally, even though she ran, even though she's so ashamed. That's what I like to say. That's probably the first moment that a human being ever empathized with how God must feel. As we run from our worth of his love, or her love, whatever you want to call it. As we go back to sin, when we really just want to be loved, and we don't want to go to sin at all. We want to feel worthy, and it's hard, isn't it? Because it's hard because we got to let go of our belief structures. Because the thing is that God is always right there, and the love is being given. And maybe it does hurt God. Maybe it hurts God that we don't want to look. Maybe it hurts God that we run. It surely hurt Hosea. Well, anyways, that's that. I'm all out of time, but much love. Aloha oi.